Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life. Seneca. What if today was your last day? How would you live it? Would you waste it, or would you make it count? Life is fleeting, and we often get caught up in the noise of the world, forgetting just how precious each moment is. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches us not only how to endure life's challenges, but how to embrace the present with purpose and clarity. It invites us to confront our mortality, not with fear, but with a deep understanding that every single day is an opportunity to live with intention. In today's video, we'll explore 5 powerful Stoic principles that can transform the way we approach life. These principles will help you cut through distractions, focus on what really matters, and embrace the freedom that comes from living fully, no matter what challenges you face. So take a deep breath and let's dive into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Stoicism is an ancient Greek philosophy that has stood the test of time, offering a roadmap for living a life of purpose, resilience, and inner peace. At its core, Stoicism teaches us how to navigate life's challenges by focusing on what is within our control and letting go of what is not. It encourages us to accept reality as it is, without being swayed by external circumstances or emotions. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes not from external possessions or achievements, but from mastering our own minds and reactions. In our modern world, where distractions and stress seem to be a constant, Stoicism offers invaluable lessons for managing our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Whether you're facing personal struggles, professional setbacks, or just the daily grind, Stoicism provides a practical framework to deal with adversity and find tranquility in the chaos. By applying its principles, you can learn to respond to challenges with calmness, make better decisions, and live a more fulfilled life. Today, we'll dive into how these timeless Stoic principles can be integrated into your everyday life. From managing stress to improving your relationships, Stoicism is more than just a philosophy. It's a way of living that empowers you to stay grounded, focused, and at peace no matter what life throws your way. So let's explore how you can bring the wisdom of Stoicism into your daily routine and make every moment count. Rule number 1. Awareness of mortality. Imagine waking up one morning knowing that it could be your last. What would you do? Would you waste time on trivial things, or would you finally tackle the things that matter most to you? For many of us, death feels distant, something that happens to others, not us. But what if we embrace the reality that life is fleeting and it could end at any moment? Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, often meditated on the inevitability of death. In his personal reflections, he reminded himself daily that life was short and that time should not be squandered. He didn't view this as a cause for despair, but as a wake-up call to live more fully. Death was not something to fear, but something to understand and accept as part of the natural order. It's this profound awareness that allowed him to live with purpose, with clarity, and without the weight of distractions. Think about a moment in your life when you experienced loss. Perhaps it was the death of a loved one, or even a fleeting moment where you realize just how fragile life is. In that instant, many of us reflect on the things we've put off, the things we've been too afraid to say, or the dreams we've let slip by. That realization can be powerful. It has the potential to wake us up to the fact that our time here is limited. This concept of memento mori, or remember you must die, is central to Stoicism. It's not about being morbid or fearful, but about using the awareness of death as a tool to live better. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, said that life is long if you know how to use it. But most of us spend so much time in the past or future that we forget to fully live in the present. Stoicism teaches us that by remembering death, we are reminded of the urgency of now, of the fact that every day is an opportunity that should not be wasted. So, how does this awareness of death actually help us live better? It pushes us to stop procrastinating and start doing. It encourages us to speak our truth, make amends, take risks, and follow our passions. When we embrace the reality of our own mortality, we realize that we cannot afford to keep putting off the things that truly matter. We stop sweating the small stuff, like arguments or annoyances, and start focusing on what truly adds value to our lives, our relationships, our health, our purpose. Imagine if you lived each day as though it might be your last. What would you do differently? Would you hold on to grudges? Would you hesitate to take risks? Or would you embrace the present moment, knowing that every second counts? This is the power of Stoic thinking, not to live in fear of death, but to use that fear as motivation to live fully. Rule number 2, discern what truly matters. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the idea of focusing on what truly matters. And in order to do that, we must first understand what is within our control and what is not. Stoicism teaches us that many things in life are external and beyond our influence, like the opinions of others, the weather, or the course of events in the world. These things, Stoics argue, are not worth our time or energy to fret over. Instead, we should focus on our internal responses, our thoughts, our actions, and our character. These are the things we have the power to shape and influence. This distinction between what we can control and what we cannot is the key to determining our priorities in life. The Stoics believe that by stripping away the noise of the external world, we could hone in on what is truly important: the pursuit of virtue, wisdom, and inner peace. So how do we apply this in our own lives? First, it's essential to recognize that many of the things we think are urgent or necessary often aren't as important as we imagine. The daily rush to keep up with work, the need to meet social expectations, or the pressure to accumulate wealth and status can all cloud our judgment. We may end up investing most of our time and energy into goals that don't align with our deeper values, leaving us feeling unfulfilled or disconnected from what truly matters. The Stoics would advise us to take a step back and ask ourselves some critical questions. What truly brings meaning to my life? What values do I hold most dear? What can I do today that will contribute to my growth as a person? These questions help us prioritize what is truly worthwhile. Stoicism encourages us to align our actions with our values, not with the fleeting desires or societal pressures that often distract us. For instance, Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, would reflect daily on the importance of his role as a leader and the responsibility he had to others. But he would also remind himself that his personal virtue and wisdom were far more important than any external success. This internal focus allowed him to navigate the pressures of ruling an empire without losing sight of what mattered most to him. He didn't allow external accolades or challenges to define his worth. Instead, he measured his success by his ability to act in accordance with his values and to improve himself. In our daily lives, we can apply this principle by examining where we spend our time. Are we spending hours scrolling through social media, worrying about what others think, or chasing after temporary pleasures? Or are we investing in relationships that matter, dedicating time to our personal growth and prioritizing our health and well-being. Stoicism challenges us to reevaluate what we allow to consume our time and energy. By choosing to focus on what aligns with our core values, we can free ourselves from the constant pressure to chase after external rewards and instead cultivate a life of purpose and fulfillment. By practicing this simple yet profound exercise of prioritization, we can begin to align our actions with what matters most. Stoicism helps us strip away distractions and invites us to live more intentionally, focusing on the things that truly contribute to our well-being and growth. In a world filled with noise and distractions, this practice of determining what is truly important is a gift that can bring clarity, peace, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. Rule number 3. Seek meaning in every moment. Imagine a moment when you're sitting in traffic, frustrated by the long wait, the noise, and the sense of time slipping away. Most people might find this experience annoying, even infuriating. But a Stoic would see it differently. They would remind themselves that this is a moment to practice patience, to focus on their breath, and to center their mind. Rather than wasting this time in frustration, they would find meaning in the stillness, recognizing that each moment, no matter how seemingly insignificant, is an opportunity for growth. This is the essence of Stoicism, finding meaning in the small, everyday moments. For the Stoics, meaning isn't something that only exists in grand, life-changing events. It can be found in the quiet moments, the routine, the things we often overlook in our rush through life. Whether it's making your morning coffee, waiting in line, or having a difficult conversation with a colleague, each of these moments offers an opportunity to practice virtue and mindfulness. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, wrote extensively about finding purpose in the ordinary. He suggested that if we pay attention to the present moment and approach it with intention, we can find meaning in almost everything we do. Imagine, for instance, making a simple cup of tea. Instead of rushing through the task while thinking about the next thing on your to-do list, a Stoic would approach it with presence. They would savor the act of boiling water, feel the warmth of the cup in their hands, and appreciate the simplicity of the moment. By doing so, they transform a mundane act into something meaningful. Let's take another example. When faced with a challenge at work, perhaps you're dealing with a difficult project, a tight deadline, or a stressful situation with a colleague. The natural reaction might be to focus on how unpleasant the task is, how much pressure you're under, or how unfair the situation feels. But through the lens of Stoicism, this challenge becomes an opportunity. It's a chance to practice resilience, patience, and composure. Instead of getting caught up in the stress, you shift your focus to the action you can take to address the challenge, without letting emotions cloud your judgment. Even in moments of hardship, Stoicism teaches us to seek meaning. When faced with adversity, rather than seeing it as a random misfortune, Stoicism invites us to view it as a chance to practice virtues like courage and endurance. The Stoics believed that it is not the external event that matters, but our response to it. This mindset allows us to take control of how we experience life, regardless of the circumstances. Finding meaning in the small moments can also help us appreciate life more deeply. When we're constantly focused on future goals or past regrets, we miss the beauty of the present moment. By practicing Stoicism, we learn to slow down, to notice the little things, and to approach each moment with intention. Whether it's feeling the warmth of the sun on your face, sharing a laugh with a friend, or simply sitting quietly with your thoughts, These small moments can be just as meaningful as the major milestones in life. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches us that meaning isn't reserved for the big events or the grand achievements. It's available to us at all times, in the smallest of moments, if we choose to seek it. By being present and mindful, we can find purpose in every action, every breath, and every encounter. This mindset allows us to live with more gratitude, joy, and peace, transforming the ordinary into something extraordinary. Rule number 4. Live with courage and integrity. There was a young woman named Sarah who had always dreamed of starting her own business. She had a passion for design, and she knew that if she could only take the leap, she could create something special. But every time she thought about taking that step, fear held her back. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, and the fear of the unknown haunted her. She would spend nights lying awake, thinking about all the things that could go wrong. The more she thought about it, the bigger the fears grew, and the smaller her courage became. One day, while going through a particularly rough patch, Sarah decided to take a break and revisit a book she had read years ago, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. As she flipped through the pages, a passage caught her eye. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The words hit her like a wave. It was as if Marcus was speaking directly to her, reminding her that her fears, though real, were not the enemy she thought they were. They were simply thoughts, temporary and external. She realized that she had been letting these fears dictate her decisions, and in doing so, she had been living in a prison of her own making. The next morning, Sarah took a deep breath and decided to face her fear head-on. She began to break down her business plan into small, manageable steps. Each day, she would take one action, no matter how small, towards her goal. It was a challenge at first. She had to push through the discomfort, the voice in her head telling her she wasn't good enough, the fear of failure that loomed over every decision. But with each small step, the fear began to lose its grip. Stoicism had taught her that courage wasn't the absence of fear. It was the ability to act despite it. Sarah soon found that her journey wasn't just about building a business. It was about confronting her fears again and again and refusing to let them control her. She realized that every challenge she faced was an opportunity to practice courage. When she received her first rejection letter, instead of allowing it to defeat her, she saw it as a lesson in resilience. When her initial efforts didn't go as planned, she learned to embrace failure as part of the process, knowing that each setback was simply a stepping stone on the path to success. One of the most important lessons Sarah learned was that living with integrity and honesty was just as important as courage. As her business grew, she faced moments where she had to make tough decisions. She could have chosen shortcuts, compromised her values, or taken the easy route. But Stoicism reminded her that true success was not about external achievements or recognition. It was about staying true to her principles. She remembered another teaching from Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. And so Sarah built her business with transparency, honesty, and a commitment to doing the right thing, even when no one was watching. She became a leader who inspired others, not by her achievements alone, but by the courage and integrity with which she faced every challenge. Looking back on her journey, Sarah realized that the true victory wasn't the business she built, it was the person she had become. Through the lens of Stoicism, she had learned that courage and integrity were the foundation of a life well lived. Rule number 5. Persevere through challenges. Stoicism teaches us that challenges and setbacks are an inevitable part of life. They are not signs of failure, but rather opportunities for growth. One of the core Stoic virtues is perseverance, or prohairesis, which is the ability to maintain our course in the face of adversity, regardless of the circumstances. The Stoics believe that it is not the challenges themselves that define us, but how we respond to them. The essence of Stoic perseverance lies in understanding that obstacles are not to be avoided, but embraced. When faced with adversity, many people's first instinct is to resist or complain. However, the Stoics taught that resistance only fuels suffering. Instead of fighting against the inevitable, we should focus on controlling our reactions to it. By accepting challenges as part of the natural order, we free ourselves from frustration and despair. This mindset allows us to stay calm, rational, and composed, even in the most difficult situations. Take the example of Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was born into slavery. Despite his circumstances, he was able to rise above his status and become one of the most respected teachers of Stoicism. Epictetus didn't have control over the fact that he was a slave, but he had control over his mindset and how he responded to his situation. Rather than complaining or surrendering to bitterness, he focused on what he could control: his thoughts, his actions, and his attitude. In doing so, he demonstrated the power of perseverance through hardship. This Stoic approach to perseverance can be incredibly powerful in our own lives. Life will inevitably throw challenges our way, whether it's personal struggles, professional obstacles, or unexpected setbacks. The key to Stoic perseverance is to remain steadfast, regardless of the difficulties we face. We should approach each obstacle with the belief that we can overcome it, knowing that our strength lies not in avoiding adversity, but in facing it head-on and learning from it. A great example of this in modern life can be seen in the story of Thomas Edison, the inventor who faced countless failures before he achieved success with the light bulb. Edison is famous for his perseverance, famously stating, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison's determination is a prime example of Stoic perseverance in action. Rather than allowing each failure to defeat him, he used each one as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. His ability to persist, despite repeated setbacks, ultimately led him to revolutionize the world. The Stoic practice of focusing on what is within our control allows us to maintain a sense of agency, even when faced with overwhelming challenges. It teaches us that while we may not always be able to control the outcomes, we can control the effort we put forth. By committing to our purpose, even when results are not immediately apparent, we build resilience and strength. Perseverance, according to Stoicism, is not about quick success, but about the continual process of striving forward, regardless of how many setbacks we encounter along the way. In the face of adversity, Stoicism offers a powerful reminder. The true measure of success is not whether we avoid difficulties, but whether we persist through them. It is through this perseverance that we build our character and achieve lasting growth. By embracing challenges as opportunities, and by responding to them with calmness and resolve, we are able to navigate life's trials with grace and determination. Stoic perseverance, then, is not just about pushing through hardship. It's about transforming hardship into a source of strength and wisdom. As we come to the end of this video, let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful Stoic principles we've explored together today. We began by acknowledging the reality of death and the way that Stoicism teaches us to live fully by embracing the fact that our time here is limited. By remembering that each day could be our last, we are reminded to stop procrastinating and focus on what truly matters, allowing us to live with urgency and purpose. Next, we dove into the importance of identifying our true priorities in life. The Stoics remind us that so much of our energy is wasted on things beyond our control. By understanding the distinction between what we can change and what we cannot, we can align our actions with our core values. We can stop chasing external rewards or societal approval and instead focus on cultivating inner virtues like wisdom, courage, and integrity. We then discussed how Stoicism encourages us to find meaning in even the smallest moments. It's not just the grand events that shape our lives. It's in the way we approach the everyday, the mundane tasks, and the quiet moments where we can practice mindfulness. Whether it's savoring the warmth of a cup of tea or taking a deep breath during a stressful moment, Stoicism teaches us to be present and intentional in every action. This focus on the present allows us to embrace life fully, without getting lost in worries about the past or future. Moving on, we explored the value of courage and integrity. Life is full of challenges, both big and small, and Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in facing our fears with courage and living in alignment with our values. When Sarah decided to start her business, despite the fear and uncertainty, she was practicing Stoicism in its purest form. It was not about the absence of fear, but about acting in spite of it. Every challenge became an opportunity to embody the Stoic virtues, and every decision made with integrity reinforced her commitment to living authentically. Finally, we looked at how Stoicism helps us persevere through life's obstacles. Just as Marcus Aurelius faced the daily pressures of ruling an empire, we too face our own challenges, whether personal or professional. Stoicism teaches us that it's not the obstacles themselves that define us, but how we respond to them. By practicing perseverance, we can continue moving forward, not with the expectation of avoiding difficulty, but with the understanding that each difficulty is an opportunity to grow. Just like Edison's thousands of failures that eventually led to success, every setback is a stepping stone on the path to personal growth. So, where do we go from here? The wisdom of Stoicism is timeless, but it's not enough to just understand these principles. We must apply them in our daily lives. Think about the challenges you're facing right now. What are they teaching you? Are you focusing on what you can control, or are you letting external events dictate your emotions? Are you finding meaning in the small moments, or are you rushing through life, missing the beauty of the present? Are you acting with courage and integrity, even when it feels difficult? Or are you avoiding the uncomfortable truths that could lead to personal growth? Now is the time to take action. Begin by incorporating just one of these Stoic principles into your daily routine. Start by accepting that life is unpredictable, but you can control your response to it. Practice living with intention and presence. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, and when fear arises, face it with courage, knowing that it's not about the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. Take a moment today to reflect on your priorities. Are they aligned with your core values? Are you giving your time and energy to the things that truly matter? Use this reflection as a reminder to live with purpose. Ask yourself, what can I do today to live in accordance with my values and embrace life fully? The Stoics believed that the key to a meaningful life is not in waiting for the perfect circumstances, but in choosing to live fully in the present, no matter what challenges we face. So, what will you do with the knowledge you've gained today? How will you live differently starting right now? The Stoic path is one of constant growth, a journey of turning each day into an opportunity to improve yourself and live with intention. The question is, are you ready to take that first step? Are you ready to live with the courage, integrity, and presence that Stoicism teaches? The choice is yours. Take action, and let today be the day you start living with purpose.